Hello and welcome to Sherayzen Law Office video blog. My name is Eugene Sherayzen. I'm an international tax attorney and owner of Sherayzen Law Office Ltd. And today I'm continuing a series of vlogs from Veracruz, Mexico. This series of vlogs is devoted to two things. First, the discussion of the most common US international tax forms, which are most likely to cause non-compliance among US taxpayers. And the second part is devoted to IRS offshore voluntary disclosure options. Right now, we're in the first part. And in this first part, I had already discussed the issue of FBAR and Form 8938 compliance. In this vlog, I would like to focus on PFIC compliance or Form 8621 compliance. This is a very complex issue, and it is a very obscure issue. In fact, it is so obscure that in most cases, accountants would not be able to identify it. They simply do not know about it. Or even if they've heard something about it, they don't know how to comply with it. So let's discuss what is a PFIC. First of all, a little bit of history. PFIC was part of the tax reform of the late 1980s under Ronald Reagan, and it is effective all the way back to 1987. Technically even further. There are two legal tests for what is a PFIC. An asset test, an income test. But first of all, it's important to state that a PFIC is a corporation. It is a foreign corporation that satisfies one of the two tests that I just mentioned. The asset test is basically whether the corporation has 50% or more of assets as passive assets. If more than 50% of the assets are passive assets, then you have a PFIC. The second one is if the foreign corporation has 75% or more of its income as passive income, it is a PFIC. Some companies satisfy both tests, some companies satisfy either test, and others do not satisfy either test. Just based on this definition, you can see that one of the most common categories of foreign corporations that will fall into the category of PFICs are foreign mutual funds. They are meant to hold various parts of foreign corporations, and most of their income would be in the form of dividends, interests, or capital gains. As such, foreign mutual funds is the most common problem for US taxpayers. Form 8621, on which the PFICs are reported, in of itself is a 4-page form. Well, it's been expanded and it's undergoing revision, so it depends on in which year you're watching this video and with respect to which year you're having to comply with this form. PFIC calculations are very complex, and there is not just one PFIC regime. There are various PFIC regimes, and each PFIC regime has its own complexities. In some situations, they are simply impossible to have elected, and in another situation, you just have to go with the default option and face the consequences. And the consequences are heavy. You're being taxed at the highest marginal tax in existence with an interest charge on top of that, irrespective of your actual tax bracket. That's a problem with the default methodology. I will not discuss the PFIC regimes in detail here. I just want to mention it as one of the most common ones to produce non-compliance with respect to US taxpayers. And I would like to note the countries where this is especially likely. This is something like Spain, England, Germany, France, basically all of the main Western European countries. Also, Australia, New Zealand, one of the biggest ones, India, and you'd be surprised to learn, also Mexico. The reason for it is that oftentimes Mexican banks will offer investments to US taxpayers who come to Mexico, open up the bank accounts, and they say, why don't you open up another account like this? Without realizing that they're getting them into trouble with US international tax law. If you would like to learn more about your PFIC compliance, you can call me at 952-500-8159, or you can email me at eugene@sherayzenlaw.com. Thank you for watching. Until the next time.